Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the big freaking Cyclist, 6'7", 300 pounds today. Packed on a little more weight because of Christmas. And finally got an action cam. It's called a Spy Point. Got it for $100 at Cabela's, and it's actually supposed to be mounted on a gun or a bow so you can take a hunting video with it. But I never see a damn thing when I go hunting anyway, so it works just as well attached to the front of the bike. So I just went on a short little ride here to test out the camera and see how it works and everything, and if my mount's going to be okay. Alright, it's not the most scenic route, and it was raining pretty hard the whole time. But anyway, I also wanted to show you guys, I have some pictures and stuff from the tour I said I was going to do a few months back. It's halfway down the Oregon coast and then over. One of the hardest, most fun things I've ever done in my life. Can't wait to do another one. I'm going to show you guys some pictures from that and tell you my experience there. In my last video, I told you guys I was going to make an in-depth video of all the equipment I was taking on this tour, and I spent about two and a half hours filming everything I had, filming all the food and my equipment and whatnot. And then I went to mess with it on the crappy video editor thing I had at the time, and I realized my phone locked in place, so every video I took was the vertical one where it's really annoying, so I decided not to even make it, and I got really frustrated. But if you guys want to see that, let me know. I'll make a short video, or I'll throw it all together anyway. So on the first day of the tour, me and my buddy Mason, we left from his house in Astoria. We rode down Highway 101 to Rockaway Beach. It's probably the most hilly stretch of the tour all the way through. It was hills like right from the beginning all the way to the end. Did about 50 miles carrying all our gear and everything, and saw some awesome views from the cliffs overlooking Cannon Beach and Seaside, Oregon. It was pretty fun. It was kind of funny because so Mason, a week prior to this, had ran a marathon, so he's in ridiculously good shape, and I was not so much. So he killed me going uphill. He just smoked me by 10 minutes each time. But I have a lot more momentum and a better bike going downhill, so I would just cruise past him when we hit the downhill stretches. I think on this tour going downhill, the fastest I got my bike up to was like 35, 36 miles an hour, which you don't think about it in a car, but in a bike you really feel how fast that is. It was pretty awesome. So one mistake we made on the first day was we didn't really take any breaks. We were just so focused, like, hey, we have to get to our camp spot. We ended up camping. It's called Barview, just outside of Rockaway Beach in Oregon. And we're just, okay, we have to get there. So we would just ride straight through. We had about maybe a couple, 10-minute breaks here or there. But we never actually stopped to eat lunch or anything. Just throwing down Nutri-Grain bars the whole time. And by the time we got to our campsite, we were so freaking tired. We got everything set up, and we went and checked out the beach a little bit, and just crashed. I didn't really have any time to enjoy the camp spot we were staying in. The second day of the trip was from Rockaway Beach to Lincoln City. It was actually a longer trip than the first day. I think it ended up being 58 miles. But for the most part, it was flat, so it felt a lot easier. So we were cruising. We ended up stopping this time. We were like, okay, we need to actually, take an hour, stop for lunch, so we are not just completely wiped by the time we get there. We stopped in a place called Pacific City, which was really cool. I'd never been there before. It's another coastal town in Oregon, but they have this gigantic dune that's on the beach, so you see people sandboarding down this dune onto the beach. And we stopped at I think it's called Pelican Brewery. We had lunch there, and it was a lot of fun. And the only hard part about this one was the very end of the day when we're almost to Lincoln City. We'd been riding for about 50 miles. Then we called it the Hill of Death. It was about 5 miles just straight up, and it was windy. So you keep going around a curve, and you're like, okay, the top's going to be the next curve we go around. You go around, and you're like, oh, fuck. Okay, the next turn we go around. Oh, no, god damn it. And then, so Mason flew right past me like he did, and about 20 minutes later, I get to the top. He's already laying on his back, and I walk up to him, and I just go, son of a bitch, and throw my bike down, and we just lay there for about half an hour trying to compose ourselves. The only good thing about hills is when you get to the top of them, you realize, you have a long stretch where you don't really have to do much. You just cruise that thing all the way down to Lincoln City. But when we got to Lincoln City, we stopped at a place called Devil's Lake Campground. And Lincoln City has a casino in it called, what's it called, Shookwinds? I don't remember. But it has a casino in Lincoln City, and then on Fridays they have all-you-can-eat seafood buffet for $20, and it's pretty close to where I live. So we had some friends actually meet us there, and we went and just teed off on some king crab. Man, it was delicious. The next stretch was from Lincoln City to Newport. This stretch was really cool because it was only about 30 miles, so it wasn't super long like the other ones were. And there's a good section of it where you're not riding. Most of this trip we were riding straight down Highway 101, which has fairly good shoulders for the most part, but you're still riding on the highway. This part had a fairly long stretch that was completely segregated to where it was just a bike trail. And it was, a lot of it was uphill. We went up to this place called Cape Foulweather, which is cool. It's this little house that's like built on like 300-foot cliff, and it's just windy as all get out all the time. It was really fun. We like went in. They had a little guest area set up with visitor information and all that. And me and Mason walk in there, and I knew we had to stink because people kept walking away from us as soon as we walked in the room. Like, oh yeah, we've been pedaling pretty hard for about 3 days now. And there's only so many changes of clothes you could take on a bike, so we couldn't have smelled great, but that was a lot of fun. Then when we got into Newport, we stopped at I forgot the name of the campground, but it was the nicest hiker biking campground we stayed at the whole time. Which hiker biking campground is. It's a campground. There's a lot of them on the Oregon coast where you have to either walk or ride your bike in. It's only like $5 a night, and they have like showers, Wi-Fi, power, plug-ins, all that. That was really helpful. That's what we did for the most part. And this was by far the nicest one, and it's also right next to the Rogue Brewery. So we just rode our bikes over there since we got our camp set up, and had a couple beers, and then came back and crashed. That was a fun day. So from there, we started riding inland, which the first half of it wasn't so much fun. We were just riding straight up, the coastal mountain range, right on the side of the highway. And there's not a big shoulder, so it was kind of nerve-wracking and doing a lot of uphill. But after about an hour and a half to 2 hours, we get to the top of this one hill, and there's a little turnoff, which is where we ended up going, which took us down this windy, like, country road, which, it was, like, paved and everything, but it was just kind of a back road, sort of, where there just wasn't a whole lot of cars. It was just us, and it was, awesome, like, winding through the trees, and there was, a creek we were running along. It was just, like, gorgeous views the whole way through. We were having a good time, just working off now because we didn't really have, cars to worry about. But on the map we were looking at, it said, like, oh, yeah, there's, like, 3 towns along this road, which is, like, fairly long, windy road. And by towns, they mean, okay, somebody has a house there. That's it. There wasn't a post office. There wasn't a store. There wasn't anywhere to fill up our water bottles. And by this point, Mason had already completely run out of water about 3 hours into this day. Because I didn't realize one of his other water bottles broke. And I had like 3 sources of water on me. So I was doing okay for longer than he was, but I ended up running out of water too. And there was nowhere to fill up. We just kept riding, and it was uphill, and we were sweating and just dog tired. Then we roll up finally after about, like, for me it was 3 hours riding without water. For Mason it was like 5. I guess no, for me it was like 2. Mason was like 4. We ride up onto this like weird church building that's in the middle of nowhere, and there's these people standing up front, and they look kind of odd. We roll up, we're just like, can we use your garden hose? We're completely out of water. And he's like, yeah, just go fill up in there. And I'm like, okay. So we go inside, and there's like these 3 kids sitting around this table and no adults in there. And like, you guys don't know us, and you just let us go in here. And I'm like, thank you. Like, we need water bad. But it was like, oh man, that's kind of weird. It's this random church in the middle, literally in the middle of nowhere. Like, there wasn't any other buildings around. It was just this one weird church. But hey, thanks to that, we were hurting bad there. But oh man, that was an odd one. So from there, we kept riding about another 10 miles, and we thought there was more. Campgrounds inland, and there wasn't anything. So we kept looking, kept riding. We rode it had to be over 60 miles by then. I couldn't use my app because the charger that I brought to charge my phone broke. So I had to conserve my phone power just in case I needed to call for help. So I couldn't use my app to find out how far we actually rode. But we rode until it was like just about dark. And we're like, okay, well, we just got to camp. So we just go off into the woods, and we conveniently didn't see the sign that said no camping. So I'm not pedaling another foot. We just need to camp for a few hours, and then as soon as the light comes up, we'll go and head in, because we actually weren't that far from our final destination, Monmouth. So we threw up our tent, camped, and I didn't get a whole lot of sleep because it was just kind of, you know, camping somewhere that had a no camping sign posted. But yeah, I wasn't about to ride any further. We were just hiding out, and then as soon as the sun came up, we packed up our stuff and got out of there as quickly as we could. So after our almost to camp spot, we had about 25 miles to go until we got back home to Monmouth. And we were riding through Kings Valley, which is gorgeous when you're not, absolutely tired and dehydrated and just hating life. So yeah, we woke up the next day, we were cruising by, we weren't in a hurry because we were still pretty close, and we ended up getting into town at about 11. So yeah, it wasn't that long of a day. But it was just gorgeous, man. Rolling hills, like just cruising around stuff. One thing that sucked about this day, though, was about, I don't know, an hour before we were about to go home, I was coming down this hill, and a freaking yellow jacket gets caught in between my middle and ring finger and just stings the hell out of me as I'm going downhill. I just whip out and whip my hand out and throw the thing off, and I go, God damn it! And Mason rides up and like, what the hell happened? I just got fucking stung. So I was all pissy about that for a while, but yeah, we ended up making it back home, and I was only about a 2.5 hour ride that day, because most of the days we'd ride about 5, 6, 7 hours. And yeah, got in there, freaking finally had a good shower, and got to watch Game of Thrones. So yeah, the last day ended pretty well. Anyway, in all, doing the tour was one of the funnest things I've ever done. I can't wait to do it again. We're going to try to shoot for the second half of the Oregon coast next year. If anybody's thinking about doing one, absolutely do it. It was awesome. Make sure you go with somebody who you can stand being around for that long, because I went with Mason, who's my best friend. He's going to be the best man at my wedding. Just got engaged, so I'm looking forward to that. So, well, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I have a good time making these videos. I'm going to try to do it a little more regularly now that I have the equipment for it. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, or if you like what I do, please let me know. Yeah, big freaking cyclist. Thanks, guys. Have a happy New Year.